Happy Monday and welcome to our Mindful Monday start with Anetta and I. Today we are joining Anetta from Miami. She's just moved there, which is really exciting. And today we're going to be talking about our summit, which is taking place on May the 24th and the 25th for a whole weekend of transformation and good vibrations. We have got some really cool speakers lined up for you guys. And we are slowly introducing some on Substack this week. We'll be going live tomorrow with Rachel, who is a nurse, but she also went through a divorce and is helping others heal through that, right, Anetta? Yeah. And then every Tuesday we'll be going live until the summit with Matt as well and Cheryl, just to give you a bit of an insight into, what these beautiful people have to offer us, because we're all here to share and care and learn from each other. As we've already said so many times, we learn best together. We did when we were kids, we do when we're still adults, but I think we lose that touch sometimes. So we're really excited. And today we're going to be talking about a topic that I would say Anetta and I handle quite well in our lives, because we're just constantly pushing ourselves to grow, pushing ourselves out our comfort zone. And it's something that someone raised to me quite a few times recently, how I deal with, not always having to control things in my life. And it's never something that I've really battled with. It's something, Anetta, that I just feel like, well, if I can't control it, why would I worry about it? How do you feel about this topic?
I've always thought to myself, if a situation comes up and it's maybe not an ideal situation, I always tell myself that I can control one of two things. I can control my actions and attitude. I can't control other people, places, or things. And that's looked at it. Like, for example, that's so true though, because we can't change people and we can't change how we want a situation to play out exactly how we want it, but we can control how we react to it and what we do moving forward. I think a lot of times we can get into this mentality of, I wanted it to work out like this, but or this thing that I was working towards, it took a different route. But when you start to look and see that maybe it actually worked out for your better, maybe it actually worked out better than what you can imagine. And when things don't go your way, I always recommend just spreading gratitude and sharing gratitude about it, because gratitude will take you further than anything. And I mean that all sincerely, because, like, I've had my fair share of setbacks in the past, and I didn't really fully understand why I was going through them. For example, when I got fired from my dream salon, I literally looked at them and I said, thank you. I had no idea what was ahead. I had no idea what was happening. But I remember they were like, hey, like, can we talk to you for a minute? And I was like, yeah, sure. What's up? And they're like, so because of X, Y, and Z, we're going to be parting ways. And we're just going to have to ask you to pack up your stuff and go. And I was like, really? Thank you. And I had no idea why or where I would go. But I had two choices in that: to communicate my actions and my attitudes. And I chose to be gratitude for that moment, because once you realize that everything is truly working out for you, everything is working out for you. Maybe you were waiting for something I guess, how can I phrase this? Like, for example, I'll just keep going back on to when I got let go from my job. When I got let go from my job, like, I always had this thought in the back of my mind of read the world, and that's when I took up travel and things. So don't when you ask for flowers, don't be surprised when you get rain, is basically what I mean.
Yeah, that's so true. And I love that you are able to just rewire the situation, because it's hard. Like it can be hard. I mean, everything is powerful the way we label and the way we like speak about things, right? And I think sometimes the moment you say, I can't control, that already like brings up a barrier or like a blockade of like your power. And like you said, something that can like proper knock that block down is gratitude. And I love that you just like, yeah, replied to that, just like thank you out of nowhere because it's so great because it shows that you're not a venomous person. It shows that you're not resentful. You're just like, you let things come and you let things go. And that's like a lovely trait to have. I think in the sight of change that was out of my control, I was always able to reiterate to myself, like you just said, everything is happening for me, not against me. And even at the start, when you sometimes don't fully believe that because, like, you've lost someone, or you've lost your job, or you go through a breakup, or all of these, like, kind of big life events, you're like, well, oh, yeah, it's a bit weird. But, like, the more you repeat something, like, the more you can believe it. I mean, that's just the power of words and repetition when you think about it. And yeah, I was definitely just one of those people that would not want to fight against what's happening to me, but rather flow with what's happening to me. And I think because me and you have done that, or we've like, practiced it for quite a while in our lives, we're able to do it more easily now. That it doesn't even come into our minds that like this is out of our control. Well, no, because ideally in the end, God or, the high being or whatever you want to call it is in control. And the more you trust and have faith in that, the more you know that it's okay to not have control. And a lot of the time, we just like exhaust ourselves by wanting to control everything. Like it's so weird to me sometimes to think, like, to just see people that just do want control. I think it can come out of like stress or anxiety.
Yeah, and I kind of want to bounce back off what you were saying is when I got let go from my job, I knew that, like, I think well, one, they were like really shocked that I just said thank you. And I like literally thought like they were gonna fall over. They're like, what do you mean? Like, thank you? Like, yeah. And
Yeah.
as I was like, it's sad, honestly. I just remember telling myself, like, I'm not gonna beg for a seat at the table I'm no longer welcome at. You know, I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but growing up when it was lunchtime, sometimes I didn't have a group of friends to sit with at lunch, or if I did sit with a certain group of friends and then I moved to a different group of friends, I didn't when you go ask to sit at a table that you're not welcome at, you don't feel confident, you don't feel your best, and you feel like you're just pushing your way into a situation that no in a place that doesn't serve you anymore. So I say, like, when you get removed from a table or God tells you to move on from a different table, it's okay, you know? Don't be sad, don't be ashamed because rejection is actually just protection and it's redirecting you to something even better. And I think that's a really big thing to cultivate within your mindset is that if it works out for me, it's direction. If it doesn't work out for me, it's redirection to something better. So never beg for a seat at a table, especially if you're being asked to walk away from it, because you're being asked to walk away from it for a reason. And that reason is that there's something better out there for you. You may not see it immediately, but over time, things will happen and things will fall into place and things will make sense. But you just have to know that everything is going to be okay and everything is always working in your favor and for your good.
Yes. If you take action.
Yeah.
Because I feel like sometimes it's like super good to say, like everything's okay and everything will work out. But saying it isn't enough. Like you have to take action. So yesterday when you just brought this story to me, like when you were saying that, because essentially we do need people to help us get there, like if we're not feeling strong enough to take those steps, you know? But like yesterday, it made me really think, Anetta. Like, I went and taught chi yoga. Firstly, I thought no one would turn up because it was pouring rain. And then two women turn up, this Ukrainian lady and this German lady that were like my students from last year's season in the park. And I was like, oh my gosh, thank you for coming. You know, like it made me so happy. And they're like, yeah, we came for your energy. And I was like, wow, that they still remember me. Like, I know it wasn't that long ago, but like, you know, we hadn't spoken in this time. And I remember one of them, you know, she'd gone through like a really bad breakup, but it was already a while ago, but it was a 10-year relationship. And you know, I'm not judging, like I know these things take time, but I really noticed that she was stuck when we'd spoken like last year. And she was like, yeah, you know, like don't really know where I'm going, and you know, I wanted to travel with him and then it didn't happen, and I just felt like it was very like living in the past. So yesterday I see her again, you know, and afterwards I was like, so how's life? Like what's happened in this time, you know? And she's like, yeah, everything's the same. Some days are bad, some days are good. And in that moment I just looked at her and I was like, wow, like I always forget that not everyone is actively living their life to grow and heal. You know what I mean, Aneka? And like it just like really got me because I was like, wow, it's like more than half a year like that we've seen each other. And you know, and I'm not judging, you know, I know that some people are just, you know, in their comfort zone and sometimes that's okay for them, you know, but it's the fact of like knowing in your heart, in your mind that you are worth more. There is so much more out there for you. Stop ignoring it. Like, I feel these moments can be fleeting and you can ignore them and just carry on life and just think, oh, yeah, some days are bad, some days are good. I just go with it. And I'm like, but why would you want to do that? Like, you have the opportunity to make your life so magical if you actively participate in daily growth. And that doesn't even mean like daily, I don't know, doing something active like going to therapy or coaching or something. Active healing every day and growing can be journaling, it can be going into nature, moving your body, you know, speaking with new friends online or writing, you know, like there's so many ways. And then I just think, but it can be hard. It can be so hard for those people that have never done it and that they're just too scared, you know? And then I think like, wow, like there are so many people out there that me and you can help because we're doing this online summit, you know, to bring together community, to bring people together and be like, yeah, you're invited to our table because if you're invited to our table, it means that you're ready for true transformation because you actively participate in your life. And I just love to ask people, like, are you actively like living your life? Like, it really did not trigger me, like, what a positive trigger yesterday with that, you know?
Yeah, and that really, you know, it all starts with community at first, though, because we lead by example. And if you want to follow somebody's lead, you need an example to look up to. You know, when I was going through the challenging times with my ex-husband, thinking, should I leave? Should I stay? What do I do? I was actually looking for a community where I can find people who understand what I'm going through. They may not understand everything, but they understand that I'm in a challenging situation. And I want someone to tell me that it's going to be okay. Like a lot of times when we're in a dark place, we just want somebody to grab our hand and say, it's going to be okay. You're going to make it. And that's also why when I left my ex and I started my healing journey later on, I really just wanted to create a community for people where they can have a safe space, where they can connect with each other and take the masks off. You know, there's so many days that we walk around with a mask on and we're always performing, being the teacher, being the parent, being the student, whatever it is that you do in your life, you're performing to be somebody in whether your career or your personal life. But why don't we just take the masks off and love each other for who we are and accept one another for who we are? Because honestly, like all I really want to do is just share my education with others and pray that it helps other people on their healing journey. We're not alone. You're just one connection away from meeting somebody that can change your life. You're one community away from finding a community that can help you grow and heal and truly step into who you're called to be.
Yeah, it just can be a very scary first step, and I think it really is the scariest of them all. And then when you keep taking those steps, either in hand with like the community, like you say, or with, this new energy within you, like that's something you have to trust to like, take those steps forward. And like, I just find it quite sad that a lot of people do just tend to confine themselves, like confine themselves to the life that they think has been given them. But we've all been given a life, we've all been given this opportunity, which is already a massive blessing. So why not make bigger blessings from the life and like make it your own? I think that's such a key piece that you just said, like wearing these masks for people that have expectations of us, that have certain, set up for who we're supposed to be. But the most powerful part of all of that is when you actually do take your mask off and just be you. Like being authentic, being yourself is the best thing you can ever do. And all of our, childhood and teenage years, you're always looking around like, who can I be like and how can I be? And I mean, that's part of growing up and the psychology of growing up, of course. But then it only gets to a certain point where you're like, well, I can't fake it anymore, They say fake it till you make it because it's like, how do other people do this and that and this? But at the end of the day, you have to be yourself to succeed in whatever you want to do because it gets heavy if you're not. Like, you will end up like, going through a setback because none of us can just like be someone we're not supposed to be for ever or an extended amount of time. Um, and so, yeah, in our summit, you will find out how you can be authentic. I think Matt is actually talking about that, the way to authenticity. And yeah, it's one of those that is your divine given gift in life to be yourself. It's just up to you and to us to help you, guide you towards that light within you.
Your authenticity is the most rare and one of the most beautiful gifts that you can ever have.
Mm.
It's embrace it. There's nobody like you. And that's such a big advantage that you have is that there is nobody like you. And whatever dream you have or whatever calling you feel you have in you, embrace it. And Grace and I have created this safe space for you guys to be able to network with each other and to connect with other people. Sometimes it just takes one connection to change your life for the better. It takes one good decision to change your life for the better. The last 10 decisions or the last 10 connections may not have made a difference, but the next one, just go one more, that can make a difference. I was talking with Grace a few weeks ago, and I went to this one summit, in-person summit back in October. And I was living in Mexico at the time, and I went to go visit my family in the US, and they live 2 hours from where the summit was being held down in Chicago. And I made the decision to go last minute, and I told myself, "Well, I'm just gonna go, and the least I can do is maybe I'll meet somebody, maybe I'll learn something." As long as I can get 1% better and grow 1% from there, then it was worth showing up. And it exceeded my expectations. It's beyond my wildest dreams. I met so many incredible people at that summit, and it has been able to help me on my writing and my podcasting journey. And it has propelled me to so many different beautiful places. And I'm forever grateful for that one last minute decision. So the spots are limited for our live virtual summit, but don't wait until the last minute because this is going to be a really life-changing weekend for a lot of us. And when we can get a group of like-minded individuals into one room for the weekend and connect and create a safe space for each other, then that sounds like a well-deserved weekend versus spending it out partying or going out and doing mindless activities. Let's take this weekend and let's grow and heal and create a community that's worth thriving in.
Love that. Yes, it's very true. But sometimes we do take last minute decisions, especially if we're like spurred on by something that's been, acting up in our head all the time. But I think the more action you take on something that you really want to do, what your intuition is telling you, the more growth you will get. And like Anetta said, like we're setting this up with the goal to be all together in like-minded area. So you feel safe, so you feel secure. And when you do, which is like obviously as a human, like the main things to feel so that you can learn and grow from childhood, and when you do now as an adult, then you just are able to digest things better. You're able to really take things into perspective and step into your power. It sounds so funny when we say it, but this power that we're talking about is being you. It's not about us telling you what to do. It's about getting the tools that enable you to be the best person that you want to be. And that means putting in effort, and taking these steps that are worth it. Because are you really like ready to just live in your comfort zone day after day and just be like, yeah, one day is good, the other day is bad? Like, I just find that such a sad way to live. But yeah, there is just so much light as well as darkness, but there is so much light to experience when you do actively participate in your life. And that's what Anetta and I are inviting you to for this weekend. So spaces are limited. So get your tickets soon. I have now this month for Mental Health Awareness Month started my story. So sharing a bit about my story of going from psychosis and depression to transformation through a holistic healing approach. Definitely not from the clinic, definitely not from what I was given myself, but finding it out within me and helping you guys, because I know that mental crisis is truly fully spread around the world. But I am a firm believer that you have all the tools within you, in your body, in your mind, and your soul, to enable you to be in a good, steady, fit mental health as well as, physical health state, because you deserve to. We all deserve to be healthy. We all deserve to feel love and light, and don't let the darkness drown you out. Like, it is so scary. But if we're in this together, sharing our stories and sharing our light, then we can only grow bigger and better. So we will join you guys tomorrow at 4:30 CET. We'll go live with Rachel. Every Tuesday now until the summit, we'll introduce you to some of our beautiful speakers, and we can't wait to see you there.
See you
Thank
then. Thanks,
you.
guys.